I was researching the stupid green flash on my my webcam.
Oh.
Alex Jaffe, what is the origin of the green flash?
Oh, well, when Barry Allen in the Dark Multiverse got the biorestorative formula mixed up in the lightning strike, he became the Green Flash, who has the power to run super fast in swampland.
I thought it was like a Flashpoint thing. Okay,
no.
That clears a lot up.
Don't tell my wife I lost my job. She'd slice me like a blowfish. This is episode 382 of the Insert Credit Show, a podcast where we sear three of the world's foremost video game experts on the grill of a horrible buzzer. I'm Alex Jaffe, and I'm wearing a pair of black Hoka Bondi 7 sneakers.
No. I'm Frank Cifaldi. First of all, I can't hear the word blowfish without my brain going hootie. Second of all...
Wait, hootie who?
Not Darius Rucker. He is not Hootie. He regrets the band name.
Fair enough.
But I'm wearing some brown slip-on things that are falling apart. I have no idea what brand they are. They are the things that I put on when I'm lazy.
The brown things.
Yeah. They are not presentable. They make me look horrible. They are for podcast. They are shoes made for radio.
Your designated podcasting slippers.
That's right. They're very comfortable.
Yeah. My name is Ash Parrish, and I'm wearing pants for radio in that I am not wearing pants at all.
Those are the official radio pants, correct. I'm not going to say whether I have ever done a podcast pantsless. I'll leave that to your imagination.
I do it all the time. You don't? You guys are all wearing pants.
I'm wearing pants. I'm always wearing pants.
As far as people know, I have no body below my torso, and I'd prefer to keep it that way in the public sphere.
Alex Jaffe is the original metaverse inhabitant. He was like they were actually modeled after him.
I was the only person excited for that. A world where I don't need legs? Sign me up.
I'm Brandon Sheffield, and I guess we're talking about footwear, so I'm wearing... we don't wear shoes in the house, so I'm wearing Izod slippers. I don't know. I don't know if that's a real brand or...
Does everybody wear like slippers in their house?
Well, when it's cold, I do.
Yeah.
I have Izod sandals that are like next to the door, and they're my taking out the trash sandals. So
nice.
I know this brand.
If I could live like a hobbit and never wear shoes again, I
would be nice.
I don't wear shoes in the summer because it's hot, but when it's still chilly, I wear shoes. I mean, slippers.
Izod is that robot that Steve Jobs designed to fight Superman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me, man. That would be my question
I got
to
that
you.
joke.
Thank you, Ash. I've got some questions here. First of all, let's settle some business from the last time we did a show. I had a substitute host, Eric Silver. He did a pretty good job. Except it was a little freewheeling with those credits. Gave everybody a credit, despite my explicit instructions to only give out one credit. So unfortunately, we have another band host on our program. Hope you had fun, Eric. Frank, you weren't there, so you didn't get the extra credit. But Brandon, you're at 5. Ash, you're at 10. Frank, you're at 2. Would anyone like to spend it this time?
How many do I have? 5?
You have 5.
How much is it to ask a question?
1.
I'll spend 1 credit and ask a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you doing it now, or
I could do it now? I could do it later.
You could save it for later, or you could do it at the top of the show.
No. I feel like you've like tempted the audience, and now we have to like
gotta know
make
now.
them wait. No, we gotta make them wait.
What if Jaffe asks the question?
Yeah, that's true. You might want to wait. You might want to wait until I get through my stuff.
So you're not going to ask this question because this is a question that I actually thought of a few weeks ago.
Oh, cool. All right. You could do it now.
I think the implication is that you don't think.
What?
You're not going to get this one because I thought of it. Was the reason?
No, because you thought of it.
I think the likelihood of Jaffe being like, "This is the question that I'm going to ask," is slim.
Well, how about this? I'm going to ask Merritt K's question because she also got a credit last time.
Yes.
And then after that, you can deploy your questions should you so choose. Or we could wait till after the break, do it again on the show. Let's just do it. This is the question from Merritt K. If you could give any game the modern re-release treatment with promotional materials, behind-the-scenes stuff, etc., what would it be?
I want to say at the top of the question here that the joke answer, whatever you may have in mind, was already done with Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
Yeah.
Where they treated it like an actually historically interesting thing and went all in on that. So the joke's dead.
Yeah.
So
we can't do a Bubsy.
Well, that's the thing. I was actually going in that direction with Bubsy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
But not as a joke. That, like, I'm putting on my digital eclipse hat, right? Like, whenever I did one of those collections, I kind of had in mind, like, what is it that we're trying to say here? I think the Bubsy story, I don't care about the creation of that software or that character. None of that matters. It's not interesting. The story of Bubsy is the great PR swindle of Bubsy. For some reason, everyone thought Bubsy was a thing. Right? Like, it made covers of multiple magazines before it came out, right? Like, they had making of features in at least 2 magazines in the US before it came out. Our archive has a stack about a half-inch high of paperwork from PR, many of them letters penned by Bubsy to magazine editors about how cool he was. To me, it's really, like, it's just very actually interesting how everyone thought this was a thing. It came out, they all gave it an 8, and then they never talked about it again. You know, and I think there's something actually really interesting there. Like, how did you pull this off? How did you make this sort of nothing game become a thing that then became a meme?
A literal, how did this get made?
Like, was it not good, but did it sell a lot? Or did it just go
sold
over like a wet fart?
Yeah.
It sold well because of the PR blitz, not because people liked it.
Right.
Yeah, so it is interesting in that regard. I was going to go a totally different direction and say it's too bad we already got the Nier remaster, because I think a Nier collection with behind the scenes stuff and lore stuff is something that the fans would really like. So there's that's a different direction to go with it. But when there's more behind the scenes stuff for sickos that like lore dumps, and you know, like there are things from the original Nier, like fake languages used that actually reference things that are in world, and just all that
stuff
kind of
stuff. Like the art books and the audio plays, they have like this whole elaborate timeline that's like 10,000 years long.
Yeah, if you got that stuff in there, the people who love Nier would be very pleased. So I think that's a good one to do for somebody.
Someone would like that.
So I think we should give the remaster treatment to The Last of Us 2. Because that game only came out. Yeah, that game only came out like, what, 5 years ago? It's like, it's time. It's time.
Yeah, it's ripe. Ripe
no,
for remaster.
It's not time. I hate both of those games. No, the real answer and the normie answer is Bloodborne. It's been 10 fucking years. Save that game, please.
I'm actually curious if anyone has any other examples. I just want to see it because the performance was terrible the first time around is Raw Danger. Insert credit favor, Raw Danger. I just want to see it run correctly, right? Because it runs at like, you know, sub 30 frames and performs really poorly and is stuck on the PS2. Are there other examples that anyone can think of games that are like, they were really good, they just came out wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually revisiting them would make people understand that they're pretty good.
The first 3 Road Rashes. Do a Road Rash re-release and have them run at 60 FPS, which you could do now.
Yeah. If we could re-release a remake, I know your problem with the Link to the Past remake has a lot to do with the way it was delivered. Yeah.
Well, you know, I bet you could just run that on the Switch too, and it'll be fine. Then
it wasn't the Link to the Past. It was Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening, right.
And I actually doubt that, Brandon. I think it's something to do with flushing out assets and bringing in new ones. It's like that process. I don't know that performance would.
Well, possible. It's possible. Other things that could be better, I guess we already did Bullet Witch, so that one's done, taken care of.
You mean Bayonetta?
Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
The difference between Bayonetta and Bullet Witch is that in Bullet Witch, the big monster attacks aren't cutscenes. You get to actually do them.
Blast
okay.
it.
into it.
And it plays a lot worse.
Yes, and it's much worse.
Another Frank favorite, and one that just feels practically inevitable, but maybe not, is Fallout New Vegas, which was very famously panned when it came out critically because of performance issues. And with fan mods on the PC, it is currently flawless, and is something that, takes a lot of work to actually play correctly right now.
It takes like 100 different mods.
But I've been to the promised land, and I'd like other people to join me there without literally, like, there is a tutorial for setting up. I think I installed, I am making this number up, but it's something like this, like 80 mods.
Yeah.
One at a time.
It would be nice to get that just all in there. That is time.
Okay.
All right. Next question, Brandon.
Me. So here's my question. What is the wearing a metal band t-shirt of video games? And I will explain what I mean by this. When I'm wearing a metal shirt and somebody recognizes it, we instantly realize we have something in common that is a little deeper and weirder than the norm. Another aspect of this is if I see someone wearing a metal band t-shirt, I can be like, oh, that's one of the racist bands and I don't want to talk to you. Or that's Napalm Death. They're a lefty progressive grindcore band. We probably have aligned politics. There's a lot that you can read just from looking at someone's particular niche interest if you also have that niche interest. What is that of video games? Because it's not wearing a Mario shirt.
No. I think you could tell a lot about a person based on who their fighting game main is. So like if you see them pick a particular character, you can make certain assumptions about them.
Okay.
Sure. I think that's along the path, but it's not out in the world. I want to but maybe that's not important.
Where I went when you described like wearing a racist band shirt, it's like, oh, that guy's racist, right? I went toward a Portal meme with the cake shirt.
Yeah, the cake.
Yeah.
That's a person I don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, cake is a lie
10
shirt
years ago.
means no.
Yeah, especially now. Right?
When was the expiration date on Cake is a Lie? What was the hard cutoff for it?
The day after Portal came out.
Oh, I'd give it a little more leeway.
I think it was after the a couple months after the song about
it was
Cake
it
is
was
a Lie.
sometime right before the song became Rock Band DLC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good metric. Absolutely. Yeah. I would put that there too.
God, I can't really think of anything like anybody's like video game red flags that would tell me I don't want to talk to this person.
Well, it's not necessarily red flags.
Could also be green flags.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anything that I would see on a person in the world that'd be like, okay, yeah, you're cool, or okay, yeah, you're not cool. I don't know.
What if it's sort of like an old school fan gamer shirt where it's more like a company from within a game's lore?
Yeah.
That logo, something that like no one's going to know unless they really know the game.
Yeah, like Frank, you wearing the FM Towns Marty shirt.
Yeah.
If I didn't know you and I saw you wearing that shirt, I would be like, what's up?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the FM Towns Marty.
Yeah, anything from like a defunct game publisher would be a good sign, I think.
Oh, like a Hudson B?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so like any of the t-shirts that they sell on Fangamer for GDQ, I think that's like okay, you're cool. Like
you supported this thing.
Yeah, you're cool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, maybe Desert Bus for Hope or something like that.
Yeah.
Possibly.
So some like charity drive thing. That's absolutely a good.
I wish I've liked literally any Desert Bus for Hope or GDQ shirt. I wish I'd like just one of them.
Like when they made the peanut butter t-shirts. Like I bought like 2. I like got me and my husband have one, and like I have another one. Like we bought those immediately.
Oh, the dog.
Yeah.
Frank, shouldn't they just send you those shirts, considering that like you were the one who unearthed
all I did
was
put some files on the internet. I didn't raise. Okay, yes, I raised millions of dollars for charity.
Yes, that's all you. You did it.
Okay, well, I guess the answer is niche.
Niche t-shirts.
Niche t-shirts is probably it. Is there anything?
If someone looking like they don't get enough vitamin D, maybe is that someone you can talk to?
No,
because that's a give or take that could hit or miss. If you're wearing a Call of Duty t-shirt, I'm walking in the other direction.
I will say another sort of like racist adjacent one is like an NES controller and it says classically trained or something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Which is funny because I think like my husband has like a number of those kind of shirts.
Yeah. I wouldn't talk to your husband.
Yeah. Anything that has the words like old school on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like the whole thing like I play video games because I have many lives and you only have one, and it's like Ezio and the Call of Duty guy and all that shit.
Some like get a life thing.
Yeah.
Or like any of the like Facebook ad like generated ones. Like
never underestimate a man who was born in January and plays Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly.
Named Brian.
I have avoided people wearing the like full Kratos face on their on their chest before. It's like, that's like wearing a No Fear shirt or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if No Fear still exists.
What is the One Fear comic strip t-shirt joke of video game?
I'm going to call just a straight up Pac-Man shirt neutral. It could go either way.
Sure.
Yeah. But if it's a Gabe from Penny Arcade Pac-Man shirt, that's a red flag.
That's right. I think Sonic is also is a neutral to positive for me.
Yeah, me too. Any era.
Is someone wearing a Sonic shirt more likely to be cool than someone wearing a Mario shirt?
I believe yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I guess so. Yeah. Is someone wearing a Luigi shirt more likely to be cool?
Luigi shirt, you're my best friend. You're coming to me.
I think Luigi shirt in 2025, that's a good person to talk to.
Yeah. A Mario shirt is just like, it's the equivalent of like Woodstock from Peanuts. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have a personality.
It's Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have actually two questions that I'm deciding between. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't know whether to ask Brandon and Frank about GDC or whether to talk to Ash about the new Nintendo Direct. So I'm going to put 1 minute on the buzzer. We're going to talk about GDC, and then we're going to switch over to the Nintendo Direct, and we're going to do that 3 times.
Okay. 3 times?
Yeah. All right. How was GDC?
It was all right.
You know what? Listen to bonus content, bonus credit. We talked for a good 10 minutes or so about my GDC. So go listen to that. Available if you subscribe or whatever. I don't know. I'll slip you the file.
Can you slip me the file?
Upload it like Desert Bus.
No.
No, for me, it was really cool. We built a museum exhibit gallery thing on the show floor, and people really liked it. It was about unreleased NES games because that is my weird research kink, and I brought it to life, and people actually understood it, and good things happened because of it. And it took way too long, and I don't know if I'll ever do it again.
Oh, you had a session then. Like you had a successful kink session. Like, this is my kink. People responded to it. It went really well. I don't know if I'll ever do it again.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah, that was me when I went to my first BDSM dungeon. Like, this is great. This is awesome. I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, got it out. That was my experience too. I also gave an hour-long lecture. And
that's really time. Ash, tell me about the Nintendo Direct. What the hell happened?
It was a bit weird, which is like on par for Nintendo. Like, not weird as in like weird, but still, if the vibes were not quite there. They announced some things that I know will make a lot of people who play old school JRPGs really happy, because they've got like a Saga Frontier 2 remaster, and they confirmed the remaster for Dragon Quest 1 and 2. Great, fantastic. And then they had this little thing. The funny thing about Nintendo, and it's been talked about a lot online ever since they announced this, that they make simple things overly complicated, because they introduced this new like virtual game card thing about how you can like use it to like transfer games between Nintendo consoles, and then you can loan out games to people on your family plan or whatever. But it was described in like the most convoluted, confusing way possible, that everybody, like all of these video game journalists, veterans, are like scratching their heads like, okay, what? Like, I get it, but what? And it's just, typical Nintendo being Nintendo.
That's time. Brandon, why did you mess up my Proust questionnaire prompt?
Because I wanted it to be better.
Blasted.
I interviewed a bunch of people about as video game characters with this Proust questionnaire, and I did so because, frankly, I didn't want to ask game developers in 2025 what they most deplore about themselves, etc., because I felt like it would just I was imagining some of the people I was going to see and how real they were going to get, and I don't want to make these people feel bad.
The premise was to append in video games to each question, like you were doing a fortune cookie.
But what do you most deplore about yourself in video games? So anyway, I didn't do it. I made them be video game characters, and that meant that like 50% of the people that I asked said they didn't want to do it because it was too hard.
Who's blasted now, Brandon?
It was me. I blasted mine own self. And
that's time. Ash, is Nintendo like launching their own Twitter? Is that what's happening?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, dude. Like, I saw that. I'm like, somebody in the office is going to get designated as the Nintendo Today bitch. And I thank God it's not me. Because, like, and then I saw another funny take about this on Twitter. So Nintendo Today is apparently like this news app that Nintendo put out where you can get like every day, you can get like Nintendo tidbits or news or whatever. And you can watch directs and stuff like that. They're still going to do directs. Like, I was scared for a second that they were going to like completely get rid of directs and just push everything to this app. And I thought that's terrible.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, so thank God they didn't do that shit. But I guess it's like one more step on Nintendo, like transitioning into this like quasi lifestyle space where you got your alarm mode to wake you up, Pokemon sleep, and Pokemon brush your teeth, and now you've got this like day planner thing that can give you all things Nintendo in the palm of your hand. I'm like, okay, we are one step closer to them becoming the Weyland-Yutani Corporation.
Yeah, can't wait for Pikmin Toilet.
I was sad that it didn't have that it wasn't like a channel like on the Wii.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they should do that too.
No, that's time. It's time to talk about GDC.
So one interesting thing happened. So I run the career seminar, and I got a talk submitted from CyberConnect 2. They wanted to do a talk about working in Japan for foreigners.
Oh, that was cool. Like, I saw that.
Yeah, and I was like, cool, you can do that, but you have to be honest about salaries if you do it. And then they were, and it was pretty wild because they're like average salary for a starting game developer in Tokyo, $18,000. Yeah, which is not a lot of $1,000. So that was pretty funny. And then another thing, but then they showed like quality of life costs. Various lifestyle costs are cheaper, not as cheap though in comparison to the low salary you get. But anyway, but people were really interested in this talk. It was like completely full, and he did it at like 10:30 in the morning, and then afterward he was answering people's questions in the wrap up area, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, and I'll just make a mental note of that, and then I was running around the show checking up on the other sessions and everything. But then I came back at 3:30 p.m. and he was still there, still talking to students. That was wild. He wrapped up around then, and I was like, I can't believe you're still
to this very
doing
day.
this. And they were like, well, we did break for lunch, but then they all came back.
Sounds like a hit.
Yeah.
Something to bring back. Ash, final thoughts on just the very concept of Nintendo Directs.
We're going to have to do it again next week.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, that's true.
There's one more coming.
Yeah. One more
the
coming.
The old switcheroo.
I have a little GDC brag if I need to fill time.
You can do it.
So we wrapped up. This was very improvised, but one of the last sessions at GDC was a panel called "What's New in Video Game History," and I'm not on that one, but Phil Salvador is, and it's what's been going on the last year in like game history preservation, et cetera, et cetera. We wrapped with an ironic Cheesecake Factory dinner with the historians, and what I want to brag about is that so it's at the top of the Macy's in Union Square. And what I suggested was, after this, let's go into Macy's and shop for couches. And everyone mocked me and said that's like the stupidest idea I've ever heard.
I would have done it.
I'm telling you, the conversations around like different couch feels and like what our individual preferences were as the final thing of GDC was really fun. And everyone had a good time shopping for couches at Macy's with me.
All right. Here's my next question. What do you look for in a new couch?
So the biggest thing is actually the depth between the hips and knees.
Yeah.
I find that is the most important thing in a couch. If it's too long, you just like do not feel stable at all, right?
Or you turn your back into a C shape or something.
Right. And that's the other thing. The second thing would be the angle of the back, right? Because sometimes it's just like you just lean back too much. You can't. I need a way to comfortably sit neutrally, right? But then have the option to slouch. I can't have a couch where I can only do one or the other.
How essential is bed conversion?
Extremely essential. Like, if I can't sleep on this couch because I prefer sleeping on the couch, then it's not a couch for me.
But you just mean as a couch, not converting into a bed.
Yeah, I think Jaffe meant like pull out a bed.
No. Those are terrible.
That is nothing.
Yeah. I've never had a good experience with those.
No.
Better to just sleep on the regular couch.
We've all seen the Seinfeld episode.
I did once. I went to a store that had like $3,000 convertibles, and they were very comfortable. But I'm not buying a $3,000 convertible.
One other thing I like is like a slim profile on the couch in general, so that the couch maximizes sitting space while minimizing footprint. That's because some of them, like they just start like angling off to the back, or they like spill over the sides, so that they wind up taking up precious inches of your valuable home real estate. And so the smaller the profile and footprint, the better I like it.
It's really hard to like maximize comfortableness and minimize footprint. It's like that's striking the right balance.
Yeah, nothing at Macy's does that. But one thing at Macy's though is there was one couch where there's a lot of them that have little compartments that hold things, right?
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
One of them we opened up, and it was a mess. It was 3 decks of playing cards were just crammed in there.
What?
And then a bunch of boxes from like trading cards, but like the trading cards were gone.
Oh, somebody stole some shit. Yeah.
Yep. There were tags from clothes that were in there.
Nice.
And that is the exact spot in the Union Square Macy's where there's not a camera because there's a pillar between you and the camera. And you can do whatever you want there.
Devious.
The stealing zone.
Yeah.
Including playing cards, I guess. I don't understand the cards.
Another minor thing to pay attention to is we got a reclining couch because we thought that would be fun. But then we didn't think about how we have pretty small dogs. And nothing bad happened.
Okay.
It's just that the first time we did it, Pocket climbed right under there. And then we were like, could you get out? And he was like, no. I don't know. I don't know if I can leave. And so we actually had to, I had to lift the couch up to get him out of there, because he was all in the interstices, and he's like, how do I leave this zone? So careful of that.
Sorry, Pocket.
Yeah. You got under there, you got confused.
The raise up foot recliner feature on a couch has never really done it for me.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
Me either.
I thought it would be nice to try. It's like, that's the fancy thing. Let's get it this one time. And it's like, oh no, I guess we're never going to use it.
We're homeowners. We deserve this.
That's right.
I sat on a couch once with a cup holder in the armrest. That felt pretty luxurious.
No, I don't like those because they fuck up your ability to recline and sleep on the couch.
Yeah, you put your head on there, you get a big circle on the side of your head.
Anything that has like those little dividers with like cup holders, or like a media console where you stick your remotes and stuff like that, absolute no-go. Can't sleep on it.
Yeah, that's like anti-skateboarding. Or and anti-homeless.
An anti-homeless device in your own home.
Yeah, in your very own home. You're your own.
That's
you're
specifically
your own
there to keep people from falling asleep at Macy's, I guess.
Yeah.
I've posted some pictures in the host-only chat.
Oh, please.
You can see Lane Nooney and Phil Salvador like looking over couch specs.
There it is.
Minutes after mocking me for this idea.
See? Wow.
And then you see the playing cards and the what is that, Monopoly Prism basketball cards that have been opened. Yeah.
Non-Brandons, how do you feel about leather couches?
No.
There was one at Macy's that surprised me, gotta say, but in general, no. My mom had one and I hated it.
What's your preferred couch material?
Some kind of felt.
Yeah. Something that can stain.
Yeah. Stainable material.
Yeah.
Brandon, how do you feel about couch material now that we're out of the leather zone?
I'll tell you what. I would buy a used leather couch. That's fine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the guy's already dead. Better to use it than toss it away. But weirdly, I kind of like a canvas couch, which is more of like a beach thing. But this behind me right here is sort of a canvas texture, and I like that. But for fabric, I don't care about the fabric as much as the firmness of the cushions. So whatever fabric, but a cleanable one is good because we got dogs.
All right. Let's bring it back around to the ostensible theme of this show. Is a couch the best thing to sit on when playing video games?
Yes.
Oh, to sit on.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a trick.
To sit on, yes.
No, so ideally, like a proper recliner. Like if you just had a room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like,
I hear you. Yes.
Right. Like if home decor was not an issue, which in this question is not,
no.
I'm going to go recliner, like proper recliner where like I'm very like supported on all sides.
No, we're talking pure Reddit/r/male living spaces.
Yes, and I'm gonna go recliner on that.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go. Unlike the couch, I'm going to say no. I want the recliner thing in it. I want because Pocket doesn't live in this dimension. Pocket dimension,
it's just you and your game tapes.
Yeah,
Pocketless dimension.
Yeah, a pocket dimension.
I might even want the cup holder.
Wow,
because sleeping's not a concern,
right? Because it's a recliner. You're not sleeping on it,
right? I think I want like a table that comes up from the side, like an airplane.
Yeah,
for my gamer snacks.
And if you put in the code insert credit to our sponsors,
like that chair, that exact chair is on Temu right now for $35.
All right.
I like to lay down while playing video games sometimes, but I do so on my stomach. So the recliner is not.
Oh God! Advice I once heard is spend the real money on anything that separates you from the ground, so like your shoes and your furniture.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the ground.
We'll be right back with that to chew on after a quick break. The following ad supports the Insert Credit podcast, but is not necessarily endorsed by its individual members.
Either you're good but powerless, or you're strong and cruel, or you're stuck not knowing what to do.
This is the Insert Credit Quick Break. I'm Alex Jaffe, and this week's Insert Credit episode is sponsored by Crime Lake. Tired of serene music? Want to listen to something born of existential dread and crisis? Crime Lake is for you. An indie alternative project from the dead middle of Oregon, Crime Lake has songs about philosophical conundrums, loss of faith, and even some falling in love if you can stomach that sort of thing. Look up Crime Lake on Spotify and Apple Music. If you'd like to support the show by sponsoring a future episode of Insert Credit for your business, project, or personal message, contact us today with an email to show@insertcredit.com. The Legend of the Gobos continues. This is part 2 of our Insert Credit episode in progress. It's time to go to the question hole. This is the part of every podcast that we do where we take a question submitted to us at patreon.com/insertcredit, where for mere dollars a month, you can get access to the forum that lets you submit questions, get monthly bonus episodes, and other fun and interesting surprises. This week's question comes from Nick, who asks us to go somewhere we haven't gone in a while, the David Cage zone. Describe the first hour of David Cage's Monster Hunter spinoff.
So you're an interracial couple, and you have to decide if which one of you gets sacrificed to the Ralthos.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really okay. So Jaffe, are you in? Oh no, who asked this question?
Someone named Nick from the question hole.
Nick apparently is clairvoyant in the future, because I've been sick today and I haven't worked after doing the Nintendo Switch thing. And so I've been lounging on my couch watching bullshit ass movies. And one of the movies I wrote or watched was the fucking Monster Hunter movie. And I had never seen it before. And it's actually not that bad.
Really?
I didn't think so.
I mean, you gotta pretend that Mila Jovovich can beat Tony Jaa in a fight. But I don't like when they do that. When they put like one of the best martial artists alive against a regular
Mila
actor.
Jovovich.
I mean, I don't care who it
Brandon's
is.
problem is when women
actor.
defeat men in fights. He doesn't think that they're capable physically of doing
it. It works just as well if it's like, okay, I'm pitting Michelle Yeoh against like Willem Dafoe. You know, it's like Willem Dafoe is going to be on Willem Dafoe very very quickly.
He's an intimidating presence.
Yeah, I would be scared to try to hit him.
Yeah,
I would. I feel like
that's a real strike me down and I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine situation.
Exactly. You saw what happened at the lighthouse.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. What was the question?
It was about David Cage's Monster Hunter.
Oh, David Cage's
in a half shell.
David Cage. What? Yeah, so he introduced himself and he talks about how you hunt the monsters, but the true monster is man.
Yeah.
And he just
You're
front-loads
the monster hunter.
Yes, that's right. he has a big pause before he does that.
And it's like a whole thing, like the monsters are actually sentient and we're the invaders of this alien planet and they're just trying to protect their home. And meanwhile, humans.
And what's Shadow of the Colossus? Never heard of it.
Yeah.
And you save the world by like molesting a woman.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's important. You have to.
Yeah.
And all of the unlockable clothing is berets and striped shirts.
Yeah.
You can unlock an accordion. You can unlock a baguette.
Right. Yeah. All of the music is accordion music. All
accordion music.
Oh, it's scored by Lydia Tarr.
Yeah. Also, you do fight monsters, but
I
it's
got that
like
joke.
Thanks.
it's like in Heavy Rain where there's like you do the analog stick to like open a door, but you like control the speed and you can like go forward and backward is all you want. Like that's what's like killing a monster. So like it's just an animation of like stabbing a monster in the throat, but like if you pull back, the monster pulls back too. You can just do that as long as you want.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Until like time runs out and then you have to go pick up your kids from daycare.
Yeah. There's a button that just says Palico.
Pretty good. A lot of people have been talking about the food in this game. So I guess a lot of like
fromage.
Yeah, exactly.
Le
a lot
fromage,
of people let you do fromage.
Escargot.
Yeah.
I do appreciate having like never been able to play a Monster Hunter game that they did the whole food montage in the movie with the Palico and stuff. Like it was cute.
I found out that there's like a cafe that sells snails and it's called like Cafe Escargot somewhere around here. And the first review was, I don't know what I expected.
I think we can move on from there. What's the weirdest video game opinion you've ever heard in your life?
Oh no. I was going to say, let's ignore Gamergate.
Yeah.
Let's just throw that
I didn't
out.
say evil. I said weirdest.
Some of that stuff is real weird.
Like all the moving goalposts now that Assassin's Creed is out and the Japanese people actually like it.
Yep.
Isn't that kind of weird?
Okay. Weirdest opinion. I feel like everything that I think about the PC Engine. How about that?
That's up there.
Bonk's better than Mario.
Yeah, that is a very weird.
That is a string. How much of that is a bit, by the way?
With Brandon, no,
none of it's a bit. It's but better
him.
is not the word. More interesting is the actual word. Better. I wouldn't say that it's better, but I would say it's more interesting.
Okay,
and it's not a bit. But it is fun that whenever everybody hears or thinks or breathes the word bonk, they have to share it with me on social media.
That's true. That's your game.
They got to do it. It was very something that you missed, Jaffe, was the episode when Merritt was here. The PC Engine came up yet again, and she was like, "Oh, are you a PC Engine person? That explains a lot about you." I was like, "Oh man,
got your number."
Yes. What are we talking about?
Weirdest opinion.
Yeah, weirdest opinion.
Yeah, everything I say. The end.
Yeah, Ash, what is your bonk? Is it Dragon Age?
What does that mean exactly?
The game that makes
I'm
people
like,
think about you.
Oh, I have a lot of those. I think it's not a game so much as like if there's stuff in a specific game. So like romances or big monster dudes you can fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is it.
Deep ridiculous lore as well.
Oh yeah, deep ridiculous lores with voiced codices.
And Frank, I assume for you it's just games that haven't been released, like Lost Media.
Well, like someone at GDC, a friend of mine, was like, "Frank, I'm sorry, but I didn't like Return to Monkey Island." I was like, "I don't care.
It wasn't for you. It was for me."
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that one, like, because they thought that was very important to me.
Yeah.
That people like this franchise, and it's like, I don't care about the franchise.
Do you like Monkey
a game
Island?
that came out a long time. I like the first two Monkey Islands a lot. And I did like Return, but as a game for people who like the first two a lot. It is an autobiographical game about making that game. But that is not a weird opinion. I'm trying to think of a weird opinion.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing this question dirty because I know I've heard a lot of really unhinged opinions about video games, and I just can't call them to mind at the moment. It's probably because I'm off Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to think of like, well, what's a game that would be weird to like? And I was like, I don't know. I don't care. You like David Cage games. It's fine.
Yeah, but there's weird there's weird opinions floating out there about like specific versions of stuff being the best or whatever, but I just can't think of them.
I can't either.
It looks like we failed.
Earmark this and come back to it at a later time.
Yeah.
So I'd like to move on to maybe the most famous weird video game opinion and whether it's time to reevaluate it. We're all adults here. None of us are kids anymore. So let's do an honest check-in. Were video games corrupting the youth?
Oh, what era? Are we talking about like Mortal Kombat 90s?
When they were saying it.
So
They've always been saying that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
No, video games themselves, no. But the culture we permitted to surround video games and then not paid attention to, abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could say, in a sense, like serious games for the military.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
They do in some literal sense corrupt young people. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't rotting our minds the way that our parents thought it was. It
was other people that rotted our minds that they let do that. Yeah, like not monitoring your kids on Xbox Live and they're shouting slurs like it's a normal thing to do. Mm-hmm. I understand the technology wasn't there to like listen to voice chat, and there are privacy issues associated with that too, obviously. But like that whole like culture thing was like very bad, and I don't know what we would have done with the technology we had to like maybe nip that in the bud. But man, if I could go back and fix that shit, I would. Then I could play online video games, multiplayer, and turn my mic on.
Yeah, that would be nice.
A completely different world.
I think that, as you say, the culture surrounding it is what is doing the rotting. And these days with YouTube especially, like I heard my nephew parrot some like racist adjacent talking points, and it's like there's no question that he got it from watching YouTube about video games. Like that's what he was doing all the time. There's nowhere else he was gonna get it but there. And so
did you talk to his mom about that?
Yeah, I talked to them about it. I don't think they care that much.
Oh, and that's the other problem about it. Like, I don't care. They're a kid. They can do whatever. Yep, no.
Yeah.
That's how you get incels. That's how you get dudes like shooting up people because women won't like them.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you gotta pay more attention, parents.
It's true. Mm-hmm. It's true. But that's the difficulty there. Like in the old days when there was no YouTube and it was just like there's Mortal Kombat, then parents could be like, we should ban this, and that was possible. But now it's like you can limit your kids' screen time, but unless you're watching it with them, you can't really know what they're getting up to.
It's hard to have a specific scapegoat unless Mr. Beast starts ripping people's throats out, which bound to happen.
Yeah, he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah,
he'll get
He's
there.
Ready.
Escalation is like the name of his game, so it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, you all saw that thing that he posted where he was talking about these various bizarre dystopian situations he'd put these people into, and he's like, can't wait to upload the videos of that.
That's fun.
Of a man stuck in an airplane for if he can live there for a year, he'll get it for free. I
literally recreated the cube from the movie Cube. Can't wait to show it off.
What do you do? Like, okay, you have an airplane now. Like, what do you do with that?
Fly it around.
Like, what do you do with an airplane?
Yeah,
I've always wondered that.
It was a pilot.
So then
so then you can do a private charter service, and then your whole business is set up, kind of that sort of thing.
I'm into it.
Are you into this?
I'm not.
I just had to check in there.
If there's time left, I do have doing recent research into history stuff where I found some at the time outrage that I actually did agree with, which is there's a brief moment where Nintendo had this modem for the NES and they were trying to figure out what to do with it. And they hired a guy who like worked on like the lottery. Like he provided things to like state lotto people, and they were considering lotto by Nintendo. Like they were going to let you play state lottery at home on your Nintendo. And they announced with the state of Minnesota that they were going to pilot this program, and that never happened because the next month they canceled the whole thing because a politician saw that and went, we can't do this because kids will gamble. And I agree with that.
They were right.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I completely agree that that's what would have happened in 1991 on
Yeah.
Nintendo. Kids would have gambled. They would have figured out how to get around the password. They would have gambled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could get around any of that lockout stuff. That was nothing.
Yeah.
It made them wait like a whole 10 years before CSGO came out. Please don't correct me on when CSGO came out. And then they started gambling that way.
All right. With that, I think it's time to go on to our lightning round. This week's game is GameFAQ&As, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
This is the one where we go to Game FAQs, which has their own Q&A board for every video game ever made, where people can submit their questions about the game. I take the log line of those questions, and I have us answer them regardless of any context or accuracy. And we just help the public in this way to give them the answers they crave. This week, we are going down the Q&A board for Roblox. Arguably not a video game, but it has a Game FAQs page.
It's got video games in it.
It's like an FAQ for Steam.
Yeah, exactly. Our first question. Why are Slenders so rude?
Because they're hungry.
Because they know they're a ripoff.
That's fair. Does anyone know how to get blue knuckles?
Yeah.
Yeah, punch
So
it.
you go into the dev kit for Sonic Crackers and you enter,
Well, if you put the Knuckles sprite data on Sonic and Sonic Crackers, but you don't change the palette, it'll use Sonic's default palette and you'll get blue Knuckles. That's right.
We're talking about blue Knuckles. You're looking at the wrong website.
Yeah. Where is the Dizzy?
Oh, the UK, the United Kingdom.
United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a reference I don't get.
He's a little egg.
You don't know Dizzy the Egg?
No. Should I?
No, you shouldn't.
The Oliver twins made him. He toddles around.
One of those like British only platforming games.
Ash doesn't know Dizzy.
I don't know Dizzy.
We're going to have to show you some Dizzy later.
Maybe you'll learn something because our next question is, how do you put in a Dizzy?
So it's an egg, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is you run a bath, right? And you sit in the bath and you have to like open your legs a little bit, give everything time to like open up, and then you insert the...
Oh no.
Oh my goodness. I was not ready.
How do I get a Dizzy?
Well, you see there's a website called Goop.
Yeah.
And they sell jade dizzies for $630.
And finally, no, not finally for this whole thing, but our next question. What is this Dizzy thing everyone on Roblox talks about?
So it's a thing that you insert in your vagina.
Ash, no!
What?
Has anybody joined USAF for fun?
God, all the time.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it.
Everyone wearing a No Fear T-shirt.
Yeah.
Everyone. They think it's fun at first, but then the reality sets in.
How can I get Robux for doing nothing?
Okay. This is a stretch. This is a stretch. Okay.
Yeah.
You got red curly hair.
Okay.
Be an orphan.
Okay.
And you just got to meet the right guy.
Daddy Robux.
There we go.
I got there. How do I join my friend's studio?
Well, you've got to submit
nepotism.
a portfolio. I mean,
you got
to do it.
I went the other way.
Yeah. Brandon's way is more effective.
It is.
But mine's more honest. I think you got to choose your path, but choose wisely.
Yeah. And lastly, is it bad to play as a girl?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes. Still, we were talking about fixing voice chat, but maybe if we fix voice chat and the entire culture of games, then it will not be bad to play as a girl.
Yeah.
I think that's our episode. Brandon, I'm giving you the point for the 100-year-old Little Orphan Annie reference. Congratulations.
Bringing it back.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to recommend or plug to our listeners this week?
I have some.
Yeah.
So on the little Pico 8 platform, Adam Saltzman of Cannibalt fame made a little game called Prince of Prussia, which is a Prince of Persia / Wolfenstein. I guess it's more of a Prince of Persia, really, but it's just a little side-on platformer, 15 levels, free to play. You can do it on your phone, and you just go around and shank Nazis with a rusty piece of metal.
See, I went the other way. I thought it would be like a platformer in the Midwest town of King of Prussia.
Oh, yeah, no, it's Germania. So anyway, that's fun. You could get that. You could find it, Prince of Prussia. I'm going to recommend a movie called Bio-Zombie. That's a Hong Kong film from 1998 that was made just for me. It's about two friends who run a VCD rental shop in a mall in Hong Kong in 1998. They play the VCDs on a Sega Saturn, where they also play
was made for you.
House of the Dead. And then it turns into a zombie movie. And the way that they learned that you have to headshot zombies is because they played House of the Dead. Content warning: there's just a little homophobia as a trait right in the start, and then some generalized misogyny. But otherwise, pretty fun movie.
How does one watch this? Do we have to sail the seas to get it, or can this be watched? Because my husband would love this movie.
There's a Blu-ray, so I reckon it's on something streaming right now. It should be, because there's a recent Blu-ray and it's like out and available and easy. So you can also sail the seas to get that as well, though, since the Blu-ray is out. But yeah, it's fun. It stars Jordan Chan, who's one of my favorites of the late 90s, early 2000s. He's a good, fun actor, known for his work in Young and Dangerous. Lastly, I will recommend a cautious half recommend to the movie Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. Mm-hmm. So this is just an interesting exercise to get into for people, I think, because Onyx the Fortuitous is a viral YouTube creation who, like, if you saw like Crazy Guy at Arby's or whatever, where there were like interviews with a guy at Arby's and he was describing weird things that happened and talking about Satan and having weird verbal tics and stuff. But he wrote and directed a movie and successfully kickstarted it, and it's actually pretty fun, and it has decent jokes in it, and it's, you know, there's a they them character in it who's properly gendered and stuff. It's interesting because it's got practical effects in it. It has Jeffrey Combs in it.
I'm in.
It has jokes that are decent. It surrounds somebody who should be he wears like a fedora, and you could imagine him to be an incel in most other contexts, but he is a bullied, friendless character who then makes friends and is happy about it and is kind to them. Like that's the kind of energy that I would prefer to see. It's like, as a movie, it's fine. It's not the very best, but there were enough things about that I found interesting and heartening and funny and fun to look at, that I am giving it a vague recommend. So if any of that seems interesting to you as a experiment or idea, check it out. The end.
All right. Frank, got anything?
Yeah, I got a quick one, I guess. I really like having something that's very short that I can watch. Like a YouTube channel that produces stuff that I like, and especially if it's like well produced and just nice. And there is a series by NHK Japan, as in like the network. It's just called A Cat's Eye View of Japan.
Oh yeah,
that sounds incredible.
It's just a nature photographer guy who just videos cats in different parts of Japan, like living with people, and not like in their houses usually, but like outside cats by the docks, and like cats that have jobs and stuff. And it's just 5 very pleasant minutes of just watching cats do their thing, and it's good for the brain.
NHK has a lot of good programming, I find.
Yeah, I want to look at more. This is the only one I've really looked at.
Yeah, when I was recommending the television, the concept of broadcast television, NHK World, the TV show, it's just like every time I turn it on, it's like, oh, look at this interesting thing.
Like, is it like a news broadcast kind of show?
They have news, but then they also have things like that. They have like, let's go to this small town and see how they make noodles here.
Yeah.
That's the good shit.
Or here are 3 different people trying to figure out how to recycle clothing into new fabrics, or whatever.
I like this.
It's just like all kinds of. There's a French guy who just rides around various areas on his bike and sees what he can see there while he's on his bike. I don't know. It's just like, and there's no commercials. It just feels illegal.
How do they do it?
I don't know.
Ash, you got anything?
The only recommendation I have is to piggyback off Brandon somewhat. Donate to PBS and NPR, please, so we can keep them around. Because if this administration has their way, it wouldn't be around anymore. So please keep them alive. We need them. Mm-hmm. They're not great all the time, especially NPR, but Jesus Christ, the alternative is worse.
It's true. We need some good things.
I'd like to recommend a new personal project that editor Esper Quinn and I are working on. We launched a new podcast last week, something I've been dreaming about doing since I was like 10 years old. It's a fake news show set in the universe of DC Comics, where I report on the new releases each week. I didn't realize it was a
fake news show. So it's like a fictionalized from the desk of Peter Parker kind of.
Right, exactly. Like if in Superman, there's
obviously
a big fight
not
between
Peter Parker, but
yeah, you know what I know what you mean. Okay. If in like an Action Comics issue, Superman fights Doomsday in Metropolis, I like have a little story in there about what the news would have made of that. And it's cool. It's an on day of release podcast of all the comics that came out this week, just as if they were breaking news stories. And it's called
that's a lot of work.
DC Action News. Every episode is under 10 minutes, and I'm very proud of it. It takes a ton of work to do, but it's some of the most fun I've ever had. And like, even if you're not into comics, the production value that goes into it that Esper brings to the table, it's, and you know, I get to do a little bit of writing, for it, which, exercises some chops for me. I'm happy to show off. I have a lot of fun doing it. You might have a lot of fun listening to it. DC Action News. Check it out wherever you can find podcasts. I would also like to recommend that if you enjoyed this episode of Insert Credit, or any episode, that you rate and review our show wherever and however you can, on iTunes, on Spotify. I understand some of our old episodes aren't on Spotify anymore. Don't worry about it. You're not missing much anyway.
Those episodes suck.
I hate those episodes. Just to be clear, it's because we used video game soundtracks.
Music on them. Yeah.
Music on them.
You can find them elsewhere.
We shouldn't.
You can find them in other places, but you know, you could also support us directly with your contributions to patreon.com/insertcredit. If you'd like to sponsor our show with an advertisement or personal message, or submit your own horrible buzzer, you can email me at show@insertcredit.com. You can also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com or find us on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. Check out Demon School if you haven't already. What's wrong with you? Subscribe to The Verge already if you haven't. What's wrong with you?
Jeez.
Check out archive.gamehistory.org. How have you not been there by now? Come on.
Fool.
This episode is edited by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman, buzzer by BB Kaizo. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Ash Parrish.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And your game has now been saved.
Angrier and angrier as we move along.
Yeah.
I like it.